Howdy doody everybody, my name is Brian and I am a proud owner of an Oculus Quest 2. Who am I kidding? I'm a reluctant owner. I can only imagine all the data Facebook's collected on me at this point. After about a month of owning this device, I gotta say I'm really impressed. And as somebody who's just stepping into VR for the first time, I'm hooked. However though, there have been a few things that I noticed in VR which, slightly put me off. Something that I thought was kind of an obstacle, and it was a very obvious one. And I'm talking about the movement system, how you move in VR. When I first got into it, I was playing this Legend of Zelda type game. I forgot the name of it. And after about an hour of moving around the virtual space, I started feeling kind of woozy. And when I took my headset off, that's when it hit me. Bam! I was out for like 3 hours after that. And then I realized, oh, this is what motion sickness is. And then I found out that this is actually something that developers take into consideration when they build their games and their apps, is that they actually have ways of minimizing or eliminating motion sickness. Apparently, like, your mind and your body doesn't agree with that, and that's why you get motion sickness. So developers have been coming up with some clever, weird ways to go around that. One of those things is something called teleportation. And if you tried teleportation before, and you know what I'm talking about, you know that is absolute shit. It is so unintuitive. It is not immersive at all. It's a terrible way to play a game. And then I researched like other ways of how you can move in VR, and I've tried other games that implement like different movement systems. I found a few, but honestly, all of them is still not very intuitive and immersive as I hoped VR would be. And I have to say real quick that when I'm talking about movement systems, I'm only talking about the Oculus Quest, or a standalone headset that has tracking and has two controllers which are also tracked. All right, I'm not talking about the higher end like fancy peripherals, the ones like treadmills or shoes, or has like full body tracking. So after experimenting with all these different systems, and I thought maybe I should come up with my own, see if I can like make something a little bit better. So I decided to take on the challenge and create something that actually feels a lot more intuitive. Now I gotta say something real quick before I present this project. I made this little project not with the intent of eliminating motion sickness directly, but trying to create a movement system that feels a lot more intuitive and immersive. And hopefully by doing that, I can help limit or maybe eliminate motion sickness. I just wanted to make something that kind of feels good when you're moving around in VR. Alright, so as for the constraints of this movement system, this is specifically built for a standalone headset like the Oculus Quest 2 and 2 hand tracking controllers without any other extraneous setup. And then the last constraint I want to mention is my actual play space, which in my case is about a 5 by 5 square foot play area. So I'm making this movement system for people with really tight spaces and can't really move about as much. And if you have an Oculus Quest, you'll have a stationary guardian where it's just a circle around you, and if you move outside that guardian, it exits out the VR space and then you can see your environment again. Now, with those constraints in mind, let's get to the demo. Alrighty, so we're inside the demo. We're inside this little world that I've created, so you can see like what look like towers or trees in the ground. There's these things which you almost think were lightsabers, and I wish that to be the case, but no, these are my controllers right here. The hands are invisible, but to them connected are these two. You can think of them as like laser pointers, and I just use this to point to stuff and interact with my menu and my UI. So also right in front of me, you can see is my menu, with a bunch of different settings. But if we hide that real quick, so how this demo works is essentially based around this little circle, which we could call the no-no circle. So you can see that everything here is red, especially the circle is red. And when I move around, you can see that this pole is moving around as well. This pole is actually representative of where you are in space, in real space. So this means that where you are relative to your room around you, this pole will move as well. So this, you can think of it as basically like a mini U. Now again, you notice that it's still red, right? But look what happens if I actually move outside the no-no circle. So it turns green. If I go back in, it turns red. If I go out, it turns green. It doesn't matter which direction I go. As long as I'm out, it turns green. Doesn't matter which direction I am. As long as I'm inside the circle, it's red. Now what red and green means is that red means I can't move. Green means I can move. So if I swing my arms like so, I'm not moving anywhere. However, if I go outside the circle, I start swinging my arms, I'm starting to move. Can't move, now I can move, right? Right. Can't move, now I can move. But you notice, I was walking forward before, now I'm walking backwards. So I want to mention now what this thing does, this little rectangular looking thing. This is supposed to be an arrow. This is basically like a compass arrow. And where it points to signifies where you're going to be moving, which direction you're going to be moving in the virtual world. And if you notice, it's actually following the direction of your pole, which also means that it's just following where your body and your headset is moving towards. So let's say, here, I can put this in the center again, so it's a little bit more clear. Let's say I move forward just a little bit. So I'm outside the circle and move forward a little bit. Notice where the arrow is. It's pointing towards where I'm going. If I move to the side, notice that it's also pointing to the side, right? If I move backwards, well, I can't see it now, but it's also backwards. And I can move in a circle, and you see that it follows me. It follows the pole, which is essentially the headset. And now if I put this right in front of me again, so you can see it better, look what happens as I move around the circle. So this circle is based on an origin point of where you are in real life. So right now my origin point is right here in my real space, and that's not going to move unless I set it up different again. Which in my case, if I press the Oculus menu and if I hold it, it's going to reset it. But right now this is like the perfect setup that I want. So I'm going to keep it here. But again, look at the arrow. It's moving where I'm moving. Okay, it doesn't matter how close I am to the origin or how far I am, it's just going to point into the direction. Now this is where I think it feels most intuitive, because now I can actually move not based on where I'm looking at, but based on where my body is relative to the origin point. Okay, so I can move forward like this. What if I wanted to move to the side? I just go to the side and start moving. I wanted to go to the right, I go to the right. I want to move back, I move back. I don't have to look in order to go where I'm going anymore, like how traditional arm swinging works. I can just move around, okay, to point to the direction of where I want to move. And I don't have to move like one-to-one and actually move and take all huge steps like how it is in the virtual world. I just have to take one step, right? Now let's say I'm moving to the left and I decide, okay, now I want to look to the left. I'm still moving to where this direction is. And you can see like the models are moving around. I just programmed it that way just so it's easier to see. Okay, so I'm moving to the left. I look to the left. I'm still moving there. I move to the right. I look to the right, and I'm still moving there. It doesn't matter which way I turn, as long as my whole body is actually moving that direction. That's where I'm going to move in virtual space. And you can also see the boundary around me. And it's not, me moving in real space is not enough to actually go outside the boundary. Okay, so if you set this up right, you should be safe. Now, I set this up for a stationary boundary. Obviously, this will work even better if it's like a free space. But right now, I'm just still locked into my origin point. So it moves based on that. So you can see how I took the movement system of moving your left stick controller and basically applying it to the ground and myself. I now basically am the left stick controller. Okay, so I initially called this circle area here, it wasn't the no-no zone, I just came up with that right now. It was, I initially called it the dead zone, because you know how it works when you're moving with your left stick. If you move it forward, that's when you move. If you move it back, that's when you move. Okay, and they usually use the right stick to look around, which now, in this case, you're just using your headset to look around. Alright, so I want to change things up here. So, right now we're moving by swinging our arms. I want to show you a different way of moving using this system, which I'm calling sliding. So same thing, we still have the pole, we still have the circle, we still have the arrow. But notice how this is different. So if I move outside the circle, you can see it starts moving by itself, right? It starts moving by itself. I don't need to swing my arms. I move back. I'm still moving. I move right. I'm still moving. But also notice this. I move forward just a tiny bit, just enough to make it green. I move slowly, but I'm still moving. I move a little bit more forward. I'm moving faster. A little bit more forward, a little bit faster. I'm gonna take a huge step forward. Now I'm really moving. I'm basically running at this point. Now it actually feels and controls just like your left controller. The more I move it outside the circle, the faster I move. Right? I want to move right. I want to circle around this pole right here. And basically I'm moving in real life as if I'm actually circling the pole. Or it's not a pole, it's let's call it a tree. I'm circling this tree right here. And I can control how fast I want to circle around it, or how slow I want to do it based on how close I am to the no-no circle. So you can see how this would be advantageous if I were in a first-person shooter situation, right? I'm aiming at something, and I just want it to move. I'm trying to see if somebody's behind that little tree right there. I'm going slowly, and then I see somebody, and then I quickly move back, and I want to hide right here. And I want to peek, I want to go back. I want to peek, I want to go back. Right? And right now I'm taking big steps because you can see that the size of the circle is fairly big. If I move this to the center again, get away from the shadow, you know, I have to take like, I don't know, maybe like a foot and a half to go from one side to the other. I can adjust this, I can adjust the radius of how big the circle is. Look at that, I make it smaller now. Now it's a lot more sensitive, okay? So I just take a tiny step and it starts moving. Put it right in front of me just so it's clear. Literally one step. Now it's a lot more sensitive. So I can adjust the sensitivity of the no-no circle based on how fast I want to move. Okay, I move here. I dodge, go back, go forward, aim, holding a sword, running after an enemy, running away from the enemy while looking at the enemy. And if I really want to go, I just start pointing forward. Oh, now I hit myself. I don't have the best room. Always gotta look at the guardian. Always gotta look at the guardian circle. Alright, I actually thought about adding a dodge system where if you move fast enough, if you move your body fast enough, to any direction, it actually like dodges really fast. But that was an idea I had. Like, I could add that, or you could add that if you wanted to, right? And you can control the speed of how you're moving about in the virtual space. Now, another mode I added with this is the hybrid. So now I can, here, let me adjust my dead zone radius. No circle. And now I'm still moving smoothly by myself without having to move my hands. But now when I see an enemy, right, I'm moving close, and then I see an enemy pop up, and I guess he's a lot stronger. He has a better weapon than I thought he would have. And then I move slowly, and I decide to like split and dash. I go to the side and start running. I start swinging my arms. So now I have a hybrid system to where if I move, I can use the slide movement to move slowly around, right? And if I never need to, if I see an enemy and I decide, you know, I want to go back and retreat, or if I want to go after him, right? I'm coming for his ass. I'm running for him. Or I can run away, hide real quick. Hide from him behind this tree. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I just knocked it over. Yeah, there's a fun little Easter egg. Oh, damn. I want to see how far that goes. Yeah, I'm knocking these forests down over. Yeah, I put that in place. I forgot that these guys actually have weights of them, and they're affected by gravity. And if you move fast enough and you hit them, you can actually knock them over like what I did. Oh god, it's still going. Gonna knock the whole area out. That's awesome. So that's a little Easter egg I put on there unintentionally. But anyway, now you can see the whole movement system, how it's a lot more intuitive, how I don't have to look at where I'm going and actually in order to move there, and how I have a little bit more precise control without having to worry about my thumb. Okay, I don't have to teleport there, which cuts the whole experience off. It just moves based on where I want to go. It moves wherever I move in real space, and I don't have to take huge leaps. I can stay within my guardian circle right here where it's safe. Okay. So that's basically the demo. This is the whole system I set up. I'm gonna make this available for download. I'm gonna put a link down in the description below so you can install this. Right now I only have it available for the Quest 2, and maybe it will also work for the Quest. I'm not sure. But if you want, I can make it for other standalone headsets like for the HTC or like steamvr. I just gotta figure out how to do that if you want me to. So I hope you try it out. I hope you try and test it for yourself, see if it works for you, see if it's a lot more intuitive. And if you can, please provide feedback because I want to keep working on this and I want to see how I can make it better. And I also included some options here for you just to tweak around with it. So right now I have 3 modes of moving. I have the arm swing, which you've seen first. There's the slide, where you just move to the direction you want to go. And then there's the hybrid, which is personally my favorite one because it combines the best of both worlds. And there's so many other combinations to this that you could probably play around with. Like, let's say I want to go around with a smooth movement. However, you've noticed that if I slightly move my arms, it kind of goes fast and starts running like that. And it's because like the arm swing implement, I didn't implement the most sophisticated arm swing. Yeah, it's not the most robust system, but it worked. However, you could make it to where the arm swing is a lot more precise, or you can actually program it to where if you only start running and the arm swing only starts working if you press a certain button. Like let's say you just start walking normally like this. This is your default mode of movement. But if you press a button like let's say like the B button, and then you swing your arms, then it starts running. So you can have a lot more precise control. So there's like different ways to program and different combinations to it. I'm just showing you like the basic ways of like how I came up with it. And I also put in here a few options that's just to tweak it. You saw me adjust the dead zone radius, or the no-no circle. So right now I'm setting up to the maximum value, which is not very sensitive, right? I have to like really move my body all the way to the edges here just in order to move. And you can also adjust the speed limit. So I can move really fast without, I can move flash style. Just tweak it and make it really slow. You can adjust how much speed the arm swings have. So I just do one swing and now it dashes really fast, and I'm gonna fall. It's alright if you fall, it just resets to your default area. Also the slide speed, I can adjust my slide speed to move really fast if I wanted. See? I just move a little bit, it's moving fairly slow, and I move just a little bit, now I'm really dashing. So put these tools in here just for you to tweak it. Find, you know, the settings and the configuration that's comfortable for you, and let me know what you think.